What's going on, people? It's your boy Tots back again. And yes, Arsenal have lost the preseason game against Tottenham Hotspur 1-0. A goal from Saar. Before I get into it, make sure you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel, T-Channel Sports, the home of sports. So let's get into the game. Now, obviously, the starting lineup came in. Norgard came into the starting lineup. It was normally the back four that we're probably going to be seeing maybe going into the season with Gabriel not recovering from an injury. Kivior at the back with Saliba, Marcelo Skelly and Ben White Ray in goal. Norgard, Rice, and Odegaard with Saka, Martinelli, and Havertz. Spurs obviously had their couple of changes as well, but Richarlison was leading the line, as well as obviously their new summer signing, Kudus on the right-hand side as well. So yeah, they had obviously a couple of players themselves, but I've got to say, Arsenal started the game in the first couple of minutes very, very aggressively, won a few corners, but didn't really threaten the opposition goal. I think Saliba had a header that went wide, but then after probably the first 10 to 15 minutes, I think Spurs really got back into the game and really was kind of making the clear-cut chances. Albert was really obviously causing Ben White a few problems on that left-hand side, and yeah, they actually had the best chances of the game, the entire game. They had a corner that came in. They started to use the tactic where it's Van der Ven, Richarlison was trying to obviously put Raya off, something that we've seen Ben White do with obviously Arsenal corners that allowed Arsenal to score a lot of corners from Gabriel, Saliba, Kivior, etc. Yeah, they were doing the same, and one corner came all the way through, hit the post, and then obviously Richarlison had literally an open goal, headed it down, and it was Saliba that cleared it off the line. That was obviously opportunity number one. Then it was a kind of a mess by Kivior, a ball over the top direct. He didn't deal with it. It kind of ricocheted into the path of Odegaard, who had a very good shot, blocked a little bit by Ben White onto the post. That could have made it easily 2-0. If those kind of two chances came in, Spurs definitely had a good opportunity there. And then the miss probably of the game, man. It was another corner that came in. Again, I think it was Van der Ven messing about with Raya, putting him off. The ball goes over Ray's head into the path of Richarlison, who was basically on the goal line. He kind of headed it against the post where it might have been better just leaving it at all, and it probably would have hit the post and went in, but he headed it against the post. It kind of went over the goal and obviously out for a goal kick. So 3 gilt-edged chances, 2 from set pieces, 1 from open play, where they've hit the woodwork 3 times. In the meantime, it was only that Saliba header and Kai Havertz who had a shot, which I think might have been offside, which he should have done miles better for. That was the kind of only chances for Arsenal in that kind of first half. And then, obviously, the mistake of the game, David Raya coming out of his goal. He has a tendency to do this. This is something he has to cut out of his game in terms of his decision-making. If you're going to come out your goal, you've got to be very, very decisive of what you're doing. You can't be playing players into danger. Keep it safe. Keep it simple. You're outside of your goal. If you lose possession, if there's a turnover, it's likely going to end up in a goal because you're not in the goal. So yeah, he plays a very risky ball into Marcelo Skelly, who has 3 people on him. It looked like a foul, to be honest. Watching it back at the time, I didn't think it was, but yeah, it looks like Richarlison clips him. But regardless, the referee wasn't a great referee for either team, if I'm being honest. Doesn't give the free kick, and yeah, it saw with a magnificent finish, to be fair to him, loving the keeper outside of the area into the back of the net to make it 1-0 to Spurs. But yeah, Spurs were definitely warranted that kind of that lead anyway, because again, they had the best chances. Arsenal didn't recreate anything. So yeah, they went into the obviously halftime break 1-0 up. After that, it was a kind of Arsenal that was trying to kind of create some chances. Didn't really create anything, man. Just kind of doing the same kind of pattern. Saka had a really poor game, as well as Marcelo Skelly and Ben White, in my opinion. I feel like, again, they're passing throughout the entire game. Odegaard flat to deceive, getting bullied off the ball quite a few times by Bentancur and a few other players. So, yeah, I think as an attacking front, they were very, very poor in this game as an entirety. But, yeah, didn't create any kind of chances. Arteta, I feel like, left it far too long to obviously make the substitutions. Brought on the likes of Max Dowman and Zinchenko and Marino in probably the 60th minute, 64th minute, something like that. Before that, he actually brought on Zubimendi and Trossard before that. And also obviously dominated possession. But again, Tottenham just kind of sat back, soaked up the pressure. And to be fair to Tottenham, I will give them credit. Defensively, they were very, very secure. Obviously, very easy to do that when you're defending the lead. But I feel like, again, in terms of the kind of low blocks and how disciplined they were doubling up on Max Dowman when he came on with Gyökeres in obviously the second half. He got about 12 to 13 minutes in that kind of scenario. But before obviously they came on, when Zubimendi and I think it was Zubimendi and Trossard came on, didn't really have an impact on the game. Zubimendi was keeping the ball quite well, but again, not really an attacking threat in terms of being able to provide that killer pass or that obviously killer shot. Trossard actually went off injured, which is a bit of a worry considering, again, he's probably a player you're looking to sell on and move on. He went off injured, potentially. I don't know if it's a hamstring injury or muscle injury. He went off straight away. So, again, not good news for him in terms of how much he's going to be obviously playing in part of preseason before the start of the season starts. So, he went off. Reece Nelson came on. And I've got to say, the second game in a row where Reece Nelson has looked like our best left winger. Martinelli flat to deceive again. We cannot. For me, if I had to choose, I think I'd sell Martinelli. I can't lie. I think like at least with Trossard, there's still an element of his game where he can maybe provide a moment of brilliance through a shot or a cross or a goal or something that, again, not many players can normally do because he has scored some very good goals for Arsenal in terms of technical ability and shots from acute angles. With Martinelli, unless you're teeing it up for him, unless he's playing through on goal, he doesn't look like a goal threat at all. He doesn't look like a wing threat at all. He doesn't create. He doesn't provide for anyone. He is isolated. I get that. But again, sometimes you got to think, you know what? These are the cards you kind of dealt with. You need to make the most out of it. And he just never does. Whereas Reece Nelson, he was on for like 15 minutes, and he already beat his fullback a few times, got a free kick, looked dangerous, looked threatening, looked direct. And he's kind of the guy that looks like he's going to be out the door first. So, yeah, man, very, very concerning sides. And I think, again, this kind of game highlighted, and these kind of games where I think Arsenal, if they just win every single game, I feel like it can put you into a false sense of security in terms of thinking everything's rosy, Arsenal are amazing and stuff like that. I think these kind of games are a massive reminder in terms of what we need to improve, because that left-hand side, there's no combinations, there's no fluidity on that left, there's no kind of overloads, there's nothing really going on that left, bro. There's no individual brilliance, there's no kind of players that are out there where you think they're going to make a difference, really. It's all on the right. And if Saka has a poor game, which I think he did, then again, you kind of stop. In terms of Gyökeres, he came on, wasn't really impactful in the game, really, didn't really have too many touches. The one touch he did lay it off for, I think it was it Zubimendi or Martinelli? One of the two. I can't even remember, man. It might have been Zubimendi, and obviously he had a shot that went over the bar, I think, or was deflected out for a corner. So, yeah, man, he obviously didn't really have enough time to really shine or and stuff like that. But again, preseason is definitely going to be used to try and obviously navigate his way into the team, because, again, he's a different kind of player. He made a few good runs through the channels that obviously wasn't spotted. So, it's going to take a lot of time and chemistry to really kind of get him working around. But yeah, we've got to actually feed to him. But I feel like, again, Arsenal as a whole need to obviously adjust how they're going to play. Because again, he's the type of striker that's not necessarily going to be involved in a lot of build-up play, but he should be on the end of things to finish it off. So if that's going to be the case, you got a striker like that, you have to be very, very creative. You have to have a lot of creative fluidity, And at the minute, man, we definitely do not. I feel like this game has absolutely highlighted the need to get Eze and a left winger. I don't care what anyone says. If you don't get both, then forget about the season, in my opinion, because you're going to have the same kind of things that obviously happen in this game. That's going to happen against West Ham, against Fulham's, against Newcastle's, against Villa's, against Brentford's, against Bournemouth's, against Brighton. You're just going to have the same kind of things against these smaller teams that defend like that, defend resolute, 10 men behind the ball. It's hard to break them down, and you've not got any kind of X factor. You're kind of relying on crosses into the box to really ricochet to someone, because again, Arsenal lacks a lot of quality. Yes, it's preseason, but my kind of issue is not the fact it's preseason, not even the fact we lost the game, because again, it's preseason. You can lose to any kind of team in preseason. It's preseason, but it's the fact that how we're playing is exactly how we played in the league. That's exactly how we drop points in the league. Loads of draws, 14 draws in the league, because we weren't competent and we didn't have that creative fluidity to kind of break down teams that are going to be resolute defensively. Teams are going to set up with the kind of low block, mid block, low block, and it's up to Arsenal to break them down. This is why the kind of Manchester City teams and sometimes the Liverpool teams are very highly regarded, because again, they had the same kind of issues, man. But you're still seeing City win 5-0, 6-0 in their heyday, Liverpool win 9-0, etc., because they just find a way to get that first goal. Pardon me, and after that, their quality shows. So yeah, for me, Arsenal, same kind of problems. And again, we've seen for me personally, we've seen the same issues every game in terms of that left-hand side. It's been the key glaring issue, and also the lack of quality up front in terms of our forward line, man. Havertz has not been great in these 3 games at all. Saka has not been up to it, in my opinion, in these 3 games as a collective, and neither has Martinelli, man. So this potentially could be our front 3 going into the first game. This is why it was so important for me to try and get those attacking signings over the line before that first game, because you need a fresh lineup, man. You can't be going to Old Trafford with Havertz, Saka, and Martinelli, because we probably won't win the game. I'll be honest, man. Because again, Man United are going to do exactly the same. resolute defensively, try and get a corner or a set piece or a free kick or something like that, or a penalty, score the goal, and then we're not going to score against them. That's you've got your warning there. So yeah, whatever Arsenal need to do, whether it's a transfer window or even obviously Mikel Arteta tactically, you got to get it done. Otherwise, we're going to have the same kind of thing we had this season. This season. But yeah, that's been obviously the review. You guys in the comments let me know what you think about the entire game and what you think the plus signs are and the negative signs are. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and obviously like the video. Until next time, we're here to play at the game. Until next time, people, I am out. Peace and love.